Welcome back to the CTSO Advisor Toolbox. Today we're going to be differentiating and discussing the difference between a club and a career and technical student organization. So think about these. Why are these clubs? You have Spanish club, Boys and Girls club, Key club, Chess club. Think about it. I'm going to pause for 5 seconds. And how are these, or why are these organizations? You have HOSA, Skills USA, TSA, DECA, FBLA. Thespians is a new one. FCCLA, FFA, and my personal favorite, Ed Rising. So take a moment and think, how are those clubs different from these organizations? Right off the bat, one of the things that you can say is that these organizations are future-oriented and these clubs are current-oriented, right? So you may have a club on campus for future physicians, but does it provide the opportunities that HOSA does? Probably not. So these clubs are based on common interests and on building around common interests. You know, Spanish club might talk about Don Quixote, or Key club is service-oriented. Chess club may discuss, the best chess moves or the best strategies for chess, whereas HOSA discusses how to be a great health professional. FBLA prepares future business entrepreneurs, and Ed Rising prepares future teachers in your classroom. So all of these different aspects are what make them different. But actually, let's look, because people are going to say, well, your CTSO is technically a club. When, yeah, there are some things that relate, but there are some things that make them different. So let's look at the things that relate the two of them first. Before we do that, let's look at some tips. So get rid of the word club and understand the difference between the two of them, which we'll look at right now. So CTSOs and clubs, here's some common ground. They both have student members. You can't have a club without members. I will admit, though, when I was in high school, I was the only active member of Ancient Greek Club with my Latin teacher. So that was a pinnacle of my career. I always had 100% club attendance. Advisor or sponsor, right? You always have someone who sponsors the activity. That's a teacher, maybe an administrator. They all participate in fundraisers. You have to have money somehow to go do things. Some of these clubs work on leadership skills, like CTSOs. Some of them are education-based, like CTSOs. Mine was based on Ancient Greek. I was also president of Latin Club. Not to brag or anything, but we had a whole 6 members in Latin Club. Some clubs are national and global, like CTSOs. So, Key Club is an international club. Both often perform service. In fact, Key Club is a service-driven organization. Both have meetings. Both have strong traditions. Mine go back 2,500 years in Latin Club and in Ancient Greek Club. And both are very fun, as hard as it may seem. Both are very fun. Yes, Ancient Greek was very fun. Here are the differences, however, between the two. Clubs are extracurricular. So when I was in, Ancient Greek Club, it was extracurricular. It wasn't something that was tied to the curriculum. CTSOs are intracurricular. So when I was in my education professions class, it had to do with what we were studying. So my CTSO had to do and related to the topic of study. They're intracurricular. Intra is related to the word inter, and people confuse those. Inter is between, I-N-T-E-R is between, and intra is within. So when you have an intracurricular program, it comes from the Latin word meaning within, and it's within your curriculum. So you find a way to mesh CTSOs and your curriculum with your CTE curriculum. Clubs are generally tied to the school, whereas CTSOs are tied to your CTE program. Clubs are usually on campus, but CTSOs take place in the CTE classroom. Clubs are community-based. They're social and service, while CTSOs are career-oriented and career-based. Clubs function based on activities, whereas CTOs function based on curriculum, meaning that clubs typically host activities, whereas CTSOs host activities that are curriculum-based. Clubs are often local, happen within the school or within, your district or community, whereas all CTSOs are national and global. You don't have one that isn't at least national. Finally, clubs are based on common interests. So when I had Latin club, right, the common interest was Latin at the time. While I was in Ed Rising, it was future interest. I wanted to be a future teacher, a future Latin teacher, actually. And so the thing about it is, clubs and CTSOs aren't at war with each other in schools, but they are different. They can work with each other, right? We both see that they both have to do with curriculum. They both take place at schools. They both have service events, but we want to keep them different. CTSOs are professional and industry organizations that are preparing students for future careers, whereas clubs are common and kind of social. So we want to keep the differentiation to ensure that students, we keep the respect for the organizations, for the respect for CTSOs that they deserve. So to reflect and to end this video, I'm going to give you 10 seconds at the end. Think now, complete this statement. I now understand I need to refer to my student organizations as CTSOs and not clubs because... Alright, that's all I have for this video. Check back to the CTSO Advisor Toolbox for our next objective. Have a great day.